Hi guys, so today we're going to do something different. We're going to be displaying a 3D map or showing a scene view. And just to describe a little bit about on it, a scene contains geographic data which is displayed in 3D. Okay, so a scene view looks more like okay, for a map view, you're going to see just a flat page, like a page on a table. Okay, and for the scene view, you're just going to, it's going to be like a round map, like a globe. Okay, let me show you with from a browser. So this is what we're going to be creating, something that looks like this. And when I zoom out, completely zoomed out, it's going to look like that. Okay, now this is a 3D map or a scene view. Okay, a scene view allows you to display real-world visualizations of landscapes, objects, or buildings, or any other 3D objects. Okay, this is an upgrade from the map view we created from the last tutorial. That is, if you have watched it. Okay, and in this tutorial, I'm going to be reusing the code we used in the last tutorial, the last two tutorials. So the index.html file is going to remain just the same. I just changed the heading to scene view with ArcGIS API for JavaScript. It sounds more descriptive. And also the CSS file, I'm still going to use the same. I'm just going to rewrite the JavaScript file because it is going to change a little bit. Okay, and for this page, this is how it looks like in a browser window right here. This is how our current page looks like. Okay, so in our JavaScript file, the first thing we're going to do is to bring in our API key, which you get from the API key we're going to use. You're going to get yours from the ArcGIS dashboard, which is created by default immediately after you create your account. But for me, I'm going to use my API key. But for you, make sure you use your own API key, because I'm going to delete this API key immediately after this video. So please make sure you use your own API key and paste it inside here as a string. Let me paste mine right there like that. Okay, and then we're going to load the modules using require animation frame using require like that. And then the first thing we need to load is the config. So from S3 config, it's just the same as from loading modules for the map view, except this time we're going to load the last module we're going to load is going to be a scene view. So from the config, we're going to load the map module from the views. So that, no, it's not from the view, sorry, just like that. And then from the views is where we're going to get the scene view module, which we're going to use to create the 3D map or the scene view. So, and also make sure you check on this. The V is supposed to be a small letter and not a capital letter. Make sure that it is a small letter. Okay, after this, we're going to create a function which takes in the modules we just imported as arguments. So the first thing we're going to, let's call the config, let's just call it S3 config to avoid confusion, and the other one let's just call it map, and the last one let's just call it a scene view, just like that. Okay, so in this function, seems like we have an error right here. Where is the problem? Where is the problem? What is the problem with this? Function. function right there. Okay, reload the okay. Okay. So I found the problem. The problem is right here. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like that. Yes, and the error is gone. So after this, the first thing you're going to need to do is to load the API key. So that is using the s3 config.api key is equals to the variable that we created at the top there, which is API key like that. And then after this, you're going to need to create a new map object. Okay, just confirm to loading. Yeah, you're good. So to create a new map object, you're going to place it in a variable called map and create a new map object. And in this new map object, we're going to pass the base map. Remember, I showed you in the previous video, I showed you all the types of base maps you can use. But for this case, so that we can achieve the result that I showed you in the browser that I just closed at the start of this tutorial, let me just use the same base map, which is ArcGIS topographic, and then use the ground. The ground is a world elevation. Yeah, that. Okay, so the as for the base maps, let me bring these in. These are all the base maps that you can use with the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. All of this, I went through this in the previous tutorial, so make sure to check it out and have an idea of all the base maps that the API offers, because there are a lot and not just the one that I'm using right here. Okay, there's a lot of them, and some of them look very beautiful, like the ArcGIS Street Light. It has a very nice dark mode. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to create now the scene view. Okay, we're going to store it in a variable called view. We're going to create a new scene view like that. So remember, the name that you're going to use here is the same one that you passed in up here as an argument. Please watch on that. And then inside here, oh, what is the mistake again? Where did I make a mistake? Did I make a mistake? Okay, need to close that curly bracket right there, and then oh, in this scene view object, we're going to pass in the map which we created up here, which is the map, this one right here, and then mistake, and then you need to pass in the camera. Okay, pass in the camera property, which takes in the position. So this takes in the position in which you want the camera to, when you load the map, at which point of the map do you want it to be placed on top of. Okay, so if you want it on top of probably Kenya or Ethiopia or the United States, you just get the longitude and the latitude, and then the height that you need the camera to be at from the ground, and then every time you load the map, it's going to appear from that position. Okay, so the first thing you need to pass here is the longitude, or maybe you can just use the X, Y, and Z initials, but let's use the longitude like that. And for this one, I chose somewhere around Nairobi, I think. So let me just enter the coordinates like that, and then the latitude, which is -1.28638. Now for this longitude and latitude values, you can pass in your own. Don't use mine if you're not after the place that that I showed you in the first during the start of this tutorial, you can use your own coordinates. Okay, so and then pass the height, which is right here. So the height takes the z value, which is the value that you enter here is supposed to be in meters. I'm going to go with 2000 meters. Okay, and also there's an extra property which you can pass here, which is the spatial reference. The spatial reference, like that. And for the spatial reference, you don't just pass in the WGS 1984. No, you don't do that, because like for every coordinate system, every coordinate system is known with what is called a well-known ID. Okay, so that is a WKID. So the WKID number is what you're going to pass in here, like this, and then WKID, and then pass in. I'm going to pass in the WKID of the WGS 1984, which is 4326. 4326. So the WKID is not something that you need to cram. You just need to know the name of the coordinate system that you're after, and then you can just Google. But for the sake of this tutorial, let me just show you the some of the WKID values like this. So there is 3823. That is for that the TWD 1997 3D geographic coordinate system. This is a geographic coordinate system WKIDs. So let us go to 4326. 43 here, 4326. Come on. 43 26. Come on. 43. So 33 26. Yes, and 24. Somewhere there. Yep, right here. So the WKID, the well-known ID of the WGS 1984 geographic coordinate system is 4326, which is what I just passed in inside the spatial reference. Inside the spatial reference property. Okay, so after this, you can just come out here, just below the camera, outside the camera. See, you can check the curly braces right here. No, it is not supposed to be there. Then it's supposed to be outside the camera. So that is right here, outside the camera, like that. And here you can pass a property, a heading property. So the heading will show the map, like where should it be facing. Okay, so how do I explain this? So when the map loads, if it is when you enter the value of heading as 0, that means it is going to be facing north. Let me confirm that. Just a minute. Yes, when you enter a value of 0, it is going to be facing north, because it's just like a compass. Okay, a compass, which is a circle, and north is going to be 0, and then the values increase as you go clockwise, as you move clockwise. So east is going to be 90 degrees. It's going to be just 90, not no values. Okay, it just could be going to be 90. Okay, so for this one, let's use north, because I want my map to be always facing north. Okay, after this, the other property you need to pass in is the tilt. Okay, so the tilt of the camera from the ground. Okay, so there's a 0. You can pass in from 0 to 90. Okay, so a tilt of 0 is when you're looking straight down towards the ground. Okay, you're like you're looking straight down towards the ground, and then 90 degrees is in the camera is parallel to the surface. So you're just going, maybe looking at the horizon, that is 90 degrees, but 0 degrees you're you're nose diving towards the ground. Okay, so for this case, we can use maybe 45 degrees so that you can get a bird's eye view of the ground, right? Like at this level. Okay, so the last thing you need to pass in is the container. The last property you need to pass in is the container. Now the container property takes in the ID. The ID is a string, the ID of the div where you want to load your map. So the ID is right here, map area. So you take that and you paste it right there. Okay, and that's all you need to do. Now let's check it and see if it has loaded. So many phone tabs open. We just close some. Let's just refresh. Let's see. What is the error? Okay, fails to load resource. Seems we have made a mistake somewhere with our code. Let me just check it. Okay, main.js is loaded, style.css is loaded. Let me confirm again. Yep. So the error is supposed to be, yeah, I think it's supposed to be views and not view. I think that's the error. I think it should work now. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I just need to log in with your username. I'm going to log in with my username, my password, and let me just save that. Okay, it's taking some time to load. Yep, I think it's loading here, right there. So the coordinates I used are from Nairobi, and it looks something like this. When we zoom out, there you go. There's your globe, a 3D map. Okay, so we can check out some places like South Africa. Let's see South Africa. Okay, just at the coast, maybe. Let's check it out. There you go. Let's zoom in a little bit. Like that. Yes. Like that. And there's your 3D image or a scene view loaded with the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. And I think that's all. You can play around with the API, maybe zoom in on hills. The hills, maybe hills will look much better. They'll give you the 3D perspective much better than the flat areas, as you can see right here. If you can look closely, my internet is too slow. If you can look closely at the hills, you can notice the 3D aspect of you can see the hills, you know, the ridges, and the you know where the rivers are going through, they're flowing through the hills. You see, it's a 3D map, and it's beautiful. Look, it looks nice. All this from an API. Okay, so I guess that there's one more thing I think we should look at: the ground property that we passed in here. This ground property. I don't know if I can. So from the S3 ArcGIS API for JavaScript documentation, the ground property specifies the surface properties for the map. Okay, so you need to use it to specify the properties, the surface properties of the map, meaning you need to specify that it is going to be using the word elevation, because a 3D map depends on elevation data. Okay, so that it gives you detailed things like the hills that I just showed you. I think I scrolled away from there. So the ground property is important, so don't leave it out. Okay, so and also for the spatial reference, you don't need to use it if you don't need it. And also for the heading, you don't need to use it if you don't need it. But as for the rest, they are basic requirements, so please don't leave out any. And also for the base map, I think we can play around with the base map. Let me pick another base map and see ArcGIS Street Relief. Let's just change this to ArcGIS Street Relief, and let's see how this one looks like. Please don't let me log in. Oh, thank you. Come to the rescue there. Okay, let's see how this one looks like. Let me just zoom out. And there you go. A relief map. Yeah, you can see the 3D aspect of the map. You can see the ridges right here. I don't know where this place is. This is where is this? It's in Kenya, along Narok Road. Okay, so let's use the OpenStreetMap, because the ArcGIS API for JavaScript also offers the OpenStreetMap base map. Okay, so let's use OSM standard. There's the name of the base map. So let's use OSM standard. OSM standard like that, and let's see what that looks like. Log in again, zoom out again. Come on, load much faster. Yep, there you go. Wow, the OpenStreetMap looks more beautiful. This is the whole of Nairobi, Kilimani, Hurlingham, Upper Hill. Looks much better. And when you zoom out like that, yep, it looks really good. So remember, I showed you the base maps that you can use. You can use the one any base map to your liking. You just need to use the name of the base map right here, and these are the names of the base maps you can use. Okay, right here. Yep, then I think that's all for today. That's the end of the tutorial. There's your 3D map, and yeah, that's it. With the scene view with ArcGIS API for JavaScript. Please subscribe if you like this video, because I'm going to be making several. If you need to learn things with the ArcGIS API for JavaScript, I'll be helping you. You can go through the document